Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. This is the Film and Music Show, and I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. My co-host and friend, Dr. Madalene Chan, has the day off. We have a super exciting guest for you today. She was recently on another show here on our platform, and she is back to share more. Her name is Glenda Benevides, and she's going to be talking with us about the process of releasing your music to the world, as well as a number of other things. Let's welcome her to the show. Joining us from California. Hello.
Good morning.
It is lovely to see you again, you global badass goddess. I absolutely love that. That is a unique title that is certainly well-deserved. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So when I saw you last, it was on the corner bookstore, and we were talking about your book, Courage, and we'll talk a little bit about that today as well. But you have a history that's really steeped in music and entertainment. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, started performing professionally since I was 16. And then 2 years later, I started touring with bands and just, doing that for the rest of my life, it felt like. Yeah, I started there, and I just always knew that I wanted to be in music, and that's how I was going to make a difference for people, that I had a gift and that I had to actually work my gift. So, and part of working your gift is you start taking voice lessons, because that was my instrument. And just to keep up, because I was actually doing like 5 hours a night singing on stage. So that was extreme. And then you start educating yourself as you go along. At least that's how I did, because I wasn't as fortunate to either live in Los Angeles or have the connections or the family members that were actually inside the industry. Because inside the industry, then you just kind of get to know what's the game, how do you play it? So that's kind of how I got started.
Yeah, that's great. And by the way, I just got a text message from one of our team members, Diane Floyd-Babe. She was on the corner bookstore. She bought your book and she downloaded Walking. So I love that.
Oh, tell her thank you. She's so awesome. I love her.
I definitely will.
Yeah.
So Glenda, something that I really want to just bust all the myths out there. People think they write a song, they get it produced, they put it out into the world, and boom, the money, look, it's coming in. Fame, fortune, glory. What do you have to say about this?
That's an immense illusion that all of us have purchased. And it keeps perpetuating itself. And that's so sad because, and I think Dr. JACALYN, business is business. So we as artists tend to not approach our art through a business lens. What does that mean? That means there is a structure to everything. And there's also a game that one plays inside of that. And meaning, I say game just because inside of games, there's rules and there's ways of doing things. And then there's a team, and then there's people in the club, and you kind of like insider trading information about how things are working. So, and what people don't realize is that is real. And it takes a while to really figure out the game. And I'm telling you, it is a business. So you have to do a business plan. You have to really figure out who you are, what you want to do, and that evolves as time goes on. And you have to identify your market. And if you're now we're so lucky right now because we have the options to use the internet. We get to kind of do things independently, DIY, which is fabulous on some levels. And then you have to really structure your life so you're creative and you're doing the work, but then you're also either hiring people to help you with those structural things that you need to do, like my marketing. Well, who am I marketing to? What's a platform that's really good for me? That kind of thing. The illusion is, which has been sold for years, is that you're going to get a record deal. Your music is great. We're going to get you a record deal. That is not true. Record deals are honestly a glorified loan, and they're actually very expensive. I have some really good friends that have been signed to record companies, and they're still paying them back. And their hit was like in '97. And they made millions. Like, they didn't personally make millions. The record company made millions. So, if anybody's listening to this, don't think it's so easy and it's, this fantasy. It's a lie, and you have to just really dig deep and start there with your foundation. And your foundation is, do I really want this road? Do I really want this career? And how do I fit into the career? And there's many ways to fit into, not the fantasy way of like, I'm going to be on a bus and we're going to be a little super famous and chicks and cocaine. And, it's like, that's the 80s, that's past. But it's, again, it's a business, and that the illusion that you're going to be famous and just going to get it out there and everyone's going to listen to it. It's not true. It's just not true. And especially with the market now, it's saturated. And we've had, economic upset. And so people are like, I want to be I'm going to be a songwriter. I'm going to be a musician. It's like, okay, is that your true calling? Those are the things that I ask people that I'm mentoring right now. It's like, is that really, it's not for the faint of heart. Do you really have what it takes to do that? And why are you doing that? Those are really good questions to ask yourself inside the business. But you can't escape or skip that it's a business, and you've got to find your place in it. That makes sense.
Yes, great wisdom to share there. Thank you. So I have a question from the other perspective. Every time I play someone's music, I expect YouTube to let me know that it has a copyright. And when I play something and there is no copyright, I think, oh, this person didn't take the steps necessary that they needed to do to protect themselves. So tell us about that. What should you do once you write something?
Yeah. Yeah, you can copyright it, but as soon as you write it, it's actually copywritten. So what you need to do is get on BMI or ASCAP, and then what you do is you register your song so they can kind of track it, and they can track who's using it, if you're using it, that kind of thing, and you get paid for that. Then there's the artist royalties. These are called royalties. Excuse me. Early morning. Then there's artist royalties, and those are the mechanicals, and then you get paid for that separately. So there's a variety of ways of getting paid, and there's another group. Gosh, what are they called? I wasn't prepared for this. Brain off. BMI, ASCAP. There's MLC. It's a mechanical licensing group. They're awesome. And then once you, like, let's say you want to release one of your songs, you record it, you master it, then you release it. There's a company called DistroKid, and they're an aggregator. And so what they do is they go, they take your song and they go, okay, here's Spotify, here, Tidal, here, whatever platform you're on, right? And you want to be on, they do them all. So you're on all the platforms, upside, downside. So the problem with streaming is, yes, it's easy access for people. They can just listen. They don't have to purchase it or download it or anything like that. The downside to that is that us as artists don't get paid, really. I have a really good friend that not only was with a record company, but he had $1 million, like he's in the, he's in a, okay, so there is a genre that he actually coined, which is EDM. And he was in the Hall of Fame for that. And he's, like I said, he's still paying the record company back. And he got a check from, like, I think Spotify or something. He posted this. The check was like, I don't know, 30 cents or something, like something ridiculous. And he's got millions of streams, millions. And he just, he posted it and burned it. I mean, it wasn't even worth the paper that was on, the money that was on there. And it was very, very, very sad. And that just really gives us the idea you can market yourself all day long. You send them to that platform. They stream your music. You don't get crap. Matter of fact, the people at the top, they get the money. So,
wow, that is truly an eye opener for me. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, it's horrible.
So, what is it then that keeps artists going? How does an artist actually get a stake in the ground? Is it music videos? Does that make a difference?
It depends on your marketing plan. I think really it's a combination of things, and I'm getting ready to do that myself. You've got to play out. People have to see you. They have to see what you're about. They have to see why you're doing what you're doing, and they have to experience the love of what you're doing. And once they do that, then they want to buy. They want to buy your merch. They want to buy, because they want to be a part of your life, like all of us did, right? With all the bands that we loved coming up, growing up, whatever, you want to have that as a part of your anthem for the day. Or, like you were saying with walking, you were like, I'm going to use that to walk with, I was like, wow, that's really cool, and things like that. So it really depends on your strategy. Like, what do you want to do? But I think you need to get out there as an artist just to share, even if it's a coffee shop, and you're bringing your t-shirts and your mugs, and you're sharing your stories about why you wrote this, and then allow people to have their experience, of course. But I think that's really the key, unless you've got, lots and lots of money to like really do a marketing campaign. And even then, again, I'm going to go back to a business. If you're marketing yourself and nothing's coming in, then it's a waste of money. Money's going out, but nothing's coming in. So, it's a nut that all of us, I think, try to crack, and try to do it in your own way. So some people go into film scoring, some people teach, some people perform. There's a variety of ways to do things. Some people are mastering engineers or mixing engineers, or, vocalists, they do arrangements, so there's a variety of ways of being involved in the industry. And then you've got to go, okay, now I want to be a songwriter for film and television, well, then you got to figure out how to crack that nut. You got to figure out how to get through the gatekeepers. Who do you talk to? Music supervisors? Good luck. There's just a variety. So you just got to have, I think, at the core, your clarity, your courage, your confidence and commitment, and just keep going.
I love that. What I'm wondering is, Glenda, if you think about it, you're an author, I'm an author. I don't know if you wrote for the same reason. I wrote just to get it out there. I never said, oh, I'm going to be rich and famous. I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing. And I saw how much money I put out for my first book and my second book even, and how much I got back, which was nowhere in no comparison. Yet I went for the third book and the fourth book, knowing that I'm not making any money, but just because that's important for me to get it out there. Is it okay to put a song out there just to get your mental health or express yourself, but you're not going to be famous?
Yeah. I think that's great. And you have to be straight with yourself. Like Like, do your research, like figure out, go, you know what, I may not make money on this, you know, or I may, or do I get representation? How do I do that? You know, like those are the questions you kind of have to ask yourself. And yes, just if it's really a calling for you, if it's really your passion, do it. Do it. You know, you don't know where it's going. You know, you really don't. You don't know who you're going to meet. You know, I didn't know you, Dr. JACALYN, you know, 2 months ago. But it's this fun journey that I'm on, and I'm fortunate to be able to express myself, and I have enough people behind me that really see the value of what I have to share and what I have to say and how I want to help people. So, you know, it's great. I'm gathering a little steam, and I'm just educating myself as I go, readjusting when I need to, and having the clarity of like, you know, am I still loving this? Am I still passionate about this? And is it really making a difference for people?
I appreciate that. And Glenda, I know that you have actually had a somewhat recent accomplishment in terms of the Grammys, and something that people only dream about being a part of. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's called the Recording Academy. And again, like I was saying, 2 years ago, I said, well, I want a Grammy. How do you get a Grammy? So I said to myself, I've been in the music industry since I was 16. So I'm like, well, how's that work? So I just really literally got online, and I just started looking, and then it shared the process with me of like, oh, how do you do that? Well, it starts with, in order to be in the Recording Academy, which is, you can be in the Recording Academy in a variety of ways. One is, I wanted to be a voting member because I wanted to say, yes, no, good music, no music. You know, I wanted to be able to be one of those people that helped with that flow of a new sound coming through, a real creativity, something that's making a difference. So it starts out with, just to let you know, so you've got to get 2 recommendations. So that means you have to have 2 people write to the Recording Academy. You have to get on and you sign in and say, hey, I recommend this person, you know, they're really contribution. They should be inside the Recording Academy, be making the decisions. And they have to be working. They have to be working artists. They can't be just your best friend.
Do they have to be part of the Recording Academy? No.
They do not. They do not. They just need to be working in the industry, and they will check. They will check. So once you do that, then they send you an email saying, you have been recommended. Now tell us about yourself. Tell us if you're worthy.
I have a question for you, Glenda.
Yes.
Can it be Bob who's singing at the local restaurant, or it has to be somebody who has so much prestige? Or
no.
It could be Bob.
It just needs to. Bob could be. He has to be working. So like he needs to work there anywhere. He just needs to be performing. You know, doing his craft, putting music out, you know, that type of thing. He doesn't have to be famous or inside the Recording Academy or anything like that. So it just needs to be a valid recommendation, which makes sense because, you know, we all have really good friends that they work musically and in whatever form, and you'll never know who they are. And they're fabulous. So they just need to do that. And then the Recording Academy will respond in kind, and they will say, hey, you've been recommended by 2 people. And then they give you a link to go in and talk about yourself and really let them know why you think you should be in the Recording Academy. And if you're worthy, basically, are you worthy to be in the club?
Now, when you're filling this out, is this something that you would need a coach or a mentor to guide you through so you write the right things? No. It's
I didn't. And I did it the first time and I did not get in. But I recommended my music partner. And he's also a mastering engineer. And this was interesting because they had just put a new category in there for the mixing and mastering engineers. Which was a new thing for the Recording Academy, which is great because they need to be represented because they're part of the team. It takes all of us to put it together. It's not easy. So he got in, I didn't get in. And then we did consider one of our songs. We did do one of our songs that year. It didn't do anything, but then the next year, which was this last year, my partner Gene, he was like, okay, let me help you with this, because I know a little inside cue. They're looking for women that are making a difference, that are up to stuff. He goes, you need to lean into that, and I was like, oh, okay. So typical of all of us. I think we forget to say the things that we do and that we love about ourselves that might be interesting, because we think, oh, well, they don't need to know about my philanthropic ventures and how I support other women in empowerment. It's like you think like that, and they're like, no, that's what they want to know. And I was like, oh my God, okay, so I did myself a disservice. So this year he helped me craft it. And that doesn't mean that everybody else needs that. I needed that. And so this year I really represented myself authentically and properly in such a way that they got it. And they said, okay, we want you to play with us. And so basically that's how I got into the Recording Academy as a voting member.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What's your experience been like since you got in?
Oh God, I love it. I mean, it's like somebody opened a door and said, would you like to see behind the curtain? Aha! You're like, okay. And it's, I spent all my life performing and touring and writing music and doing that live and also recorded, but not knowing how the game is played. Like, you just do it because you do it. And then when you get in, they open the door and you're like, oh my God. Like I had lunch with a woman here in El Cerrito, and she has their own private record label or whatever. They have 19 Grammys. And I'm like, okay, you need to tell me how this works. How did you get that? But here was the interesting conversation. She said, there's no formula. And I was like, what? And she goes, yeah, there's no formula. You just keep doing it. You keep doing it and doing it, and you get better and better. And then something hits. And then everybody's like, yeah, that's a really good song, And they say it's all based on merit. We'll see.
But wait, here's a question I have for you. If
Yeah.
you think about all the, I don't know what the number is, tens of millions of people, artists who are out there, how do they get in front of people like you so you know of them?
Yeah. That's a question we all ask ourselves. Inside of, are you ready for this? There's 60,000 releases a day.
Wow.
A day online. And that's just music that goes to the platforms and goes into the abyss. So, and I know that's going back to the business part of it, but I thought that was really interesting because I had no idea. But I think the key is, again, know what you want, know your foundation. And if you don't, ask people like me, get into a conversation. Like right now I'm mentoring a young woman in Colorado, actually. She's with the Grammy University. And so I mentor her right now in self-expression, clarity, courage, confidence, and commitment. So we're going to be meeting on that, and I get to support her to give her a leg up inside of. And she's like a mother of 4, and I was like, whoa, that's intense. Like, okay, so I just keep asking people, just keep researching, digging, and just know. A good friend of mine, a producer in London, said to me one time, we were at a music conference over there in the south of France, and excuse me, and he said to me, he goes, Glenda, he goes, I think I said this once before, but he said, there are no rules. Follow the rules. There are no rules. And I like, it's a riddle. What are you talking about? Follow the rules. There are no rules. And that's just, I'll let you guys go down that path with follow the rules. There are no rules. You can figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, that is one to actually contemplate.
It is.
I want to make sure that today we get to watch two of your music videos because I just love what you're doing. And I think it would be a great place for you to take us on this journey with, I think it was a release from last month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In February. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, what is it like to put together a music video? Is it big production? Can you do it right there in your home? Because I have to say the walk-in music video looked like there was a lot of pieces and parts to that, and I didn't know if it was actually green screen or it was no.
It was, because I've done this a zillion times now, and I have wonderful filmmaker friends. So, but no, you have to have the concept first. You hope. I always like to tell stories. So I'm always looking for, like, what's the story? What's the best way to tell that song? Like, what did I mean from that? And then people will take whatever they take, But so with Walkin', I had an idea. I had a location. There's a wonderful photographer, Michael Van Auken. He's here in the Bay Area, and he's fabulous photographer. Anyway, I got him involved basically, and I rented his space, and then we shot on location there because it's perfect. So you have to have the locations and the shots that you want to actually have. We have a shot list. We have to, how we can tell the story. And then I thought, I want to get some more people involved in this, not just me, singing head or whatever. I wanted to get some other, so I asked some friends. I had a friend from Guatemala visiting, and another artist, a mastering engineer. And I said, hey, you want to be in the video? And he was like, yeah. And so we picked up a few more people, and we just spotlighted them. And I had this vision of this artist, myself, basically, and this is kind of what we've been talking about, when you sign a contract with someone or something, you need to make sure that it really serves you too, that you don't get caught with the glitter and the glamour of, like, oh, I'm going to be famous, and that type of thing. And a lot of times we end up in relationships and contracts with entities or just one-on-ones. And you realize that after you've signed the contract, it really wasn't what you wanted or what you thought it was going to be. They've sold you a bill of goods. So I kind of wanted to say that story, because I've done many of those things as an artist and lost a lot of money for no reason. Well, the reason would be for education. So I chalk it up to that. Oh, yeah, look how much you've learned. So otherwise you'd get so depressed and want to kill yourself. So what have I learned? So with that, then I just put it all together. And then I had a couple of youngsters that wanted to film, and they've been filming, building their business. So I wanted to support them in their business. So I had them come and film, and we kind of broke things out in the shot list and the type of thing. It gets filmed, gets in the can basically. And then I take it to an editor, and I've got to tell him what's the story. And then he edited it. He puts it together. He takes pieces of this shot, that scene, this scene, and you put it together. And then you've got to do all your fun back end stuff like colorization or effects or whatever. We tended with Walkin', we use the comic book effect. So it looks like a comic book. And I thought that would be the best way to tell the story. So hopefully people got that. And
yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a look at it. And I just want to share, it is very easy to be taken advantage of. And again, education purposes, just a quick story, New York company there, they had a car pick me up. I had makeup artists, the whole thing. I was going to be famous. I was on the Discovery Channel. They took my money. I never heard from them again. And there are people out there, I call them vultures. They're just there to take advantage of our naivety. But again, it's a learning experience. So we learn and we grow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share my screen right now, and we're going to take a look at Walkin', which I can't get enough of. Here it is. And hopefully there's no commercial in the beginning. Okay, here we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
walking my way down that dirty old road. I'm walking my way down, and I lost my soul. I sold my soul for a big bright lights. And I signed my name, Lord, and it didn't feel so right. Nobody told me I would pay the price. Oh, yeah. And I sold my soul for fool's paradise. Oh, for the big life. You gotta pay the price. I'm walking my way down that dirty old road. I'm walking my way down. I don't wanna go. I'm walking my way down for something I owe. And I'm walking my way down, and I don't wanna go. No, no, no. There's nothing to show. Listen up, he said this. Now time to pay. Ooh, always calling my name. There's no way out of this. This trouble you say. Oh, I played my cards, and there's no one to play. Yeah, the devil that won my soul in his con game. Oh, there's no one to blame. Walking my way down that dirty old road. I'm walking my way down. I don't wanna go. I'm walking my way down for something else. I'm walking my way down, but I don't wanna go. No, that just hurt it all. I'm walking my way down that dirty old road. You know it's time to go. I don't wanna go. No, 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 no. And I'm walking. And you know what?
Woo! Absolutely love it.
Thank
Love
you.
it. Now, a question I have. I'm walking my way down, but I don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil is motioning to you, right? Gesturing to you, and people are trying to stop you, but
Yes.
you're still going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the story behind? Is it like we just get into these trances and we just go down this path, even though everyone's saying no, don't do it?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it happens, right? I mean, I've sat back and went, everyone says that person is no good, and I'm still hanging out with them. It's like, oh man, until you're ready, until you're ready to listen or let go, or, just really choose. Again, it's complicated, but you got to choose things that really serve you, in a loving way, not like ego way. you know
Yeah, and I thought that was really powerful when you're actually signing your name.
right.
You're making a commitment to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've all done that, right? We've
Mhm.
signed that contract
Yep.
that said, "Oh yeah, I'll do this, or I'll pay you, or I'll be a part of this thing," and then you realize it's not what you think it is, and then you feel like you've made the mistake. And so at the end there, I don't know if you could see it very well, but we burned the contract.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. The other thing that really stood out to me was you were actually walking up these steps, the staircase, and there's a guy there in the yellow, like,
yeah,
like watch out, and you're still reaching over, like, no, no, let me get there, let me get to the
yeah,
devil. Like, so
yeah,
you were putting an
exactly.
effort into it,
Yes,
right? Yeah,
yes, yeah.
yeah, and we do it all the time,
We do it all the time.
all the time. So what would you say is the big takeaway that you want people to have from walking?
Yeah. That, life is a journey, and that, we do make mistakes. We do things that hurt ourselves. And there's always a way out. There's always a way to say no, and you can burn that contract. So, yes.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
important. And then you
Yeah.
have to make peace with yourself.
You do. And you have to forgive yourself, and you have to, you know, um, it's like with anything, you got to kind of readjust. You just got to readjust and go, oh, okay, well, that was the mistake I made. I'm not going to do that again. And who do I really want to support besides myself? Like in this, are they in alignment with me? Are they? Is their belief systems and their who they are, is that in alignment with me? Because if it's not, then you are selling your soul to the devil.
Right.
You're asking for it. You're asking for that. And it may be that sometimes, like, I've had to hit my head on the sink several times, so to speak, just to learn a lesson, to point out your self-esteem is really low, and you need to stop giving your power away to somebody else because you think that they're going to help you, or that they're going to do something without you taking a look at really who they are. And I'm not saying that you should not get help, because we all need each other. Just make sure that you're clear about who you are and you're in alignment with that person across the table that you're going to work with. Make sure that they really have your best interest too, that they're providing you with something that's going to support and serve what you're up to. Otherwise, you're just throwing your time, your money, your heart, your energy away, and yeah, okay, you get to learn lessons from it. Fine. But, when you consistently do it, there's something to really look at.
So true. So true. In my own life, I can think of various times I walked down a certain path. I shouldn't have gone that way, and then repercussions. But do you think and did you mean this to be a direct tie-in with Hollywood, with film and music and the whole industry?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, it's been my experience, and I've heard other stories of other artists and other people where they've signed that contract with that record company, and that's really not what they're getting. They're basically being enslaved by the devil, and they owe at the end. So, what I wanted to say with that is, like, yeah, that happens, and there's a way out. Burn that contract. Yeah, you don't allow yourself to be controlled or manipulated into a scenario and say, oh, there's no way out, because there is a way out. Yeah, you may not like the repercussions from the way out. You may lose something or owe something, but at least there's a way out, and you can save your soul from that. And so that's kind of what I was just pointing to, is like, no, I'm going to burn this contract and we're out. So
You know what? That's so powerful, Glenda, because I feel so many times we know we're not in the right place. We got there for whatever reason, and now we have a choice. Are we going to be in denial? Are we going
mhm,
to make it worse? Or are we going to say, okay, I'm ripping all this off and I'm going to pay the price? I'm
yep.
going to have to stand up and be accountable for the decisions that I made. And many times people just shrink, shrivel, hide, run away, and then the situation just gets worse.
Yeah. Jewels. You just said some jewels right there. Gold, really. I said to myself at one point, I said, I am never letting anything or anyone hold me hostage. That's it. And I can make mistakes. I can do that type of thing, but I will never let anyone hold me hostage again. Like, no, I'll walk away. I'll take on the accountability, responsibility for my mistake, for trusting that person or doing whatever, whatever I thought at the moment was, because then you get to re-examine, why did I do that? Oh, because I was feeling insecure, or I thought I wasn't good enough. So I needed to sign that, or I needed to let them bully me into, you know, uh, buying something or going here or belonging to this or purchasing that. You know what I mean? It's like I let, as sensitives, and I think you know this, Dr. JACALYN, there's a lot of people out there that like they just care about themselves. They're sociopaths and narcissists, and they just want what they want, and they will go at you to get what they want, and you as the sensitive, the creative, needs to go, but is that in alignment with me? And if somebody's pushing you, do I need to sign right away? Let me sit on it. I just had this actually yesterday. Someone solicited me on, Instagram, hey, I can help you with your numbers kind of scenario. And I'm like, well, where, what affiliation do you go through? I don't just give somebody my money from PayPal and in a promise. Like, okay.
But guess what? Guess what I would share with you?
Yeah.
Some people do. Some people do. They are thinking, oh, this is the answer. This person chose me for some reason, and they're going to help me. I had that happen on Instagram. Somebody's going to take my book numbers here, there, and
Yeah.
everywhere. Gave them the money, didn't work out. And I thought to myself, lesson learned. The book sales should be authentic. They
Yeah.
should be authentic.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you can, and I know since I've done your show, a week ago or so with the book, talking about my book, I've noticed that I've gotten a few people that have actually, gotten onto my website, and really, just signed up just to be connected to me. And I've had some sales. So, that's how you want to clock things, like, to, is it worth it? And there's levels of reasons why things are worth it, not just only sales. That's important, of course, especially us as women building our businesses. I think it's really important, but at the same time, it's like, well, what else did we get from this? I got a beautiful connection, a wonderful lady friend, someone that inspires me, someone that I can look up to, someone that I can play with. Those are important things too. Not to the exclusion, of course, of not building your business, because otherwise we'll just have coffee in Boca Raton.
Right. And you know what? Something I think is really important. I'm looking at the time. We've got a show right after this, but there's such a good tie-in with your book, and there's such a good tie-in with empowering women, because
Yes.
as women, we do cower and feel like, oh, they need me to sign this right now. I got to do this. No, you don't actually have to. They want you to think that, but you
Yes.
don't actually have to. So tell us about your book, and then we have to have you back to continue the conversation about empowerment of women.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, my book, here it is. I love it. It's Find Your Courage, Find Your Fire, and Ignite Action in Your Life. And it's really basically, it's around clarity, courage, confidence, and commitment, and community, creating community. And this is it's like a handbook. It's a little workbook. It's real easy to read. It tells some stories that I've gone through in my life. And it also gives you the opportunity to find out what was the process that I went through in order to have clarity, courage, confidence, and commitment, and then create community. So this is that book, and it's real easy. And then you can, journal. You can write your own stuff down and see where you're at in life, and then like even the simple thing on chapter 8, it says, ask for what you truly want and expect the magic. So that's expectation. And then I said, magic is a state of mind and being if you just let it happen.
I love that. Absolutely. One thing I want to share with you, just as we close out, very recently, I was involved with a negotiation with another person. We were meeting with a third party, and this other person is a man, and the man asked for a certain price and for what this person was going to offer. And then the third party asked me, and I thought I should ask for just as much, but I couldn't do it. So I priced myself a third less.
Gotcha.
And I was hating myself, but I thought, they're not going to pay that for me. And we do this. Like, how do you know what someone's going to pay? And why do you think you're not worth the whole thing?
Yeah, that is such a great question. I go through that all the time. We always undercut ourselves, and I think that's another show. That I think that's like, having us as women just being in a culture where we're second-class citizens. I think that's just what we're mired in and that we're breaking out of. So I'm with you. I am so with you on that.
We had a show recently, I think it was on Monday. I keep saying we have to go, which we do, and I keep talking, but we had a show on Monday about bringing peace in the world. And someone presented statistics on the percentage of women who are in government positions around the world. And the numbers were so small. Mm-hmm. And the topic was, how can women be a part of the peace movement? And why are we not getting into positions after all these years that are still held by the good old boys and the good old boys club? So many more shows we can do together, Glenda.
No kidding.
We'll try to make sure that we're in the right time zone for you, because I know I don't want to interrupt your sleep there.
Oh, no, it's fine. This is a good time, actually. So
Perfect. Yeah. Well, definitely stay in touch. Please come back and see us again. I think there's so many shows you'd be a great fit for, and I really am very supportive of your work.
Great.
Once I finish reading your book, I'll do a book review on it as well.
Great. Thank you so much. I deeply appreciate you.
You too. I'll see you again soon.
All right. Bye.
And thank you to each and every one of you. We're going to close out for our next show, which is The Wise Ones. And first, I'm going to run a new clip. We're running a retreat. If you'd like to join us, here's a little bit of information, then we'll be right back. Bye.
Imagine yourself at our very first retreat. Live, learn, teach, and inspire alongside your hosts, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK and Philip Sykes. In partnership with USA Global TV and Radio and the British School of Excellence. Coming soon in 2023. Email us at info@usaglobaltv.com for more information.